asking John to baptize him was so surprising for so many. However, looking back on what we know to be the life of Jesus, Jesus humbling himself by asking to be baptized by John should not be that shocking for us. After all, Jesus would regularly dine with sinners, the outcasts of society. He brushed elbows with those deemed unclean. He touched and healed the lepers and all others who had other ailments. Now, Jesus could have presented himself and lived into the role of that great king, the powerful leader that many expected him to. However, Jesus did not live that way. He sought to humble himself, not think more of himself than any other person, regardless of life circumstances or what others thought. And maybe that's what we need to walk away from today. That baptism is not solely about a washing away of sin or gaining full entrance into the church. Perhaps the key to baptism resides in the way that it points to the nature of how we are to live for the entirety of life. Just as Jesus humbly asked John to baptize him, as he exited the waters of baptism, we were being ushered into a life of humble service. While baptism is an event that for most of us has only happened once in our life, we carry our baptismal vows and blessing with us throughout the entirety of our lives, up until our very last breath. Too often, baptism is seen as something that needs to be done in order to fulfill tradition, to please family, with little thought what happens after the water has dried up. But baptism should not be seen as an obligation, but more as a blessing and as a promise from the one who is being baptized to follow in the footsteps of Christ by becoming God's humble servant. Later on in the service, we will have a chance to remember our own baptism, or if you have not been baptized, to receive a blessing, as we will participate in hand washing before communion. On this day that we celebrate the baptism of Jesus, let us remember, baptized or not, that we are on a holy journey that is constantly ongoing and evolving. We will have ups, and we will most surely have downs. There's no way of getting around that. But what we do have control of is a choice to continue to follow Christ all of our days and in all of our ways. And the whole church said,